Life doesn't always give us answers when we want them. Sometimes it feels like we're stuck in between chapters, where nothing is moving, nothing is clear, and nothing seems to change. We pray, we push, we show up, yet the breakthrough delays. The door stays shut, the silence grows louder, and in those moments, it's easy to believe something is wrong with us. That maybe we're being punished, forgotten, left behind. But what if I told you, the silence isn't a sign of absence, but a sacred space where something holy is happening beneath the surface? We live in a world addicted to instant results. One-click shopping, same-day delivery, microwave mindsets. We expect answers fast and validation faster. But life doesn't unfold on our timelines. And the spiritual path, the one that truly transforms you, never rushes. In fact, some of the most powerful seasons of growth come in the waiting. But this waiting isn't passive. It's not sitting with your arms crossed hoping something finally happens. No, the kind of waiting Jesus modeled and called us into is active. It's a sacred vigil, a posture of readiness, a heart that says, even when I don't see it, I'm still preparing. I'm still becoming. I'm still believing. Because faith isn't just believing for an outcome. It's trusting in the process, even when the process is messy, slow, and silent. Think about it. When a seed is planted, it disappears beneath the soil. Nothing seems to be happening. But deep in the darkness, a transformation is unfolding. Roots are pushing. Life is beginning. And one day, that seed will break through and bear fruit, but not before it's buried. Some of you feel buried right now. Not because you're forgotten, but because you're being planted. This season may be quiet, but it's not empty. It's doing the hidden work of shaping your soul into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. And while you wait, it's not just about what's happening to you. It's about what's happening in you. The delays, the silence, the unanswered questions, they're a mirror. They reflect back to us what we still need to surrender, what fears we haven't faced, what lies we still believe about ourselves. The waiting exposes the parts of us that still need healing. It reveals where our faith is real and where it's fragile, not to shame us, but to grow us. See, Jesus never promised a life without tension, but he did teach us how to walk through it with purpose. He taught us that storms don't define us, they refine us. That trials aren't the end of hope, they are the birthplaces of deeper truth. And the waiting isn't wasted, it's sacred. It's a place where your faith matures, not through grand miracles, but through quiet perseverance, through showing up when nothing makes sense, through trusting when every part of you wants to quit. And here's the thing, your perseverance in the waiting doesn't just change you. It becomes a light for others. Whether you realize it or not, someone is watching your story. Someone is paying attention to how you're walking through your silence. Someone who's feeling just as lost, just as unsure, just as close to giving up. But when they see you stay faithful in the fog, when they watch you keep going even when life is unclear, that's when your life becomes a living message of hope. You become a silent sermon for someone else's breakthrough. We often underestimate the power of quiet courage, the kind that wakes up every morning, still aching, but still choosing to believe. The kind that keeps loving, keeps trusting, keeps waiting, even without visible results. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains, not because it forces an outcome, but because it changes who we are while we wait. Jesus taught us not just to reach the destination, but to become something in the journey. The goal isn't just the blessing. The goal is to be transformed. So if you're in a place today where you feel like you're in limbo, where you're waiting for clarity, for healing, for a door to open, know this. You are not in a holding cell. You're in a sacred classroom. You're not stuck. You're being shaped. And the delay you're experiencing is not punishment. It's preparation. Something inside you is being made new. You're not falling behind. You're right on time for something greater than you even imagined. Hold on to that. Not just as a feel-good phrase, but as a deeper truth. You're not being asked to be perfect. You're not being asked to fake strength. You're being invited to keep showing up, to stay open, to stay soft-hearted, and above all, to stay trusting. Because even if the answers aren't here yet, even if the breakthrough still feels far off, the transformation is already underway. And the person you are becoming through this season will be more capable, more radiant, more whole than the person who entered it. So stand strong, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the one who is still writing your story. Keep going, not because it's easy, but because your endurance has meaning. And keep waiting, not as a victim of delay, but as a vessel being filled. There is purpose in this process. There is beauty in this becoming. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize this silent season was never the end. It was the very place where your faith caught fire. Now let's talk about something that weighs on so many of us, the idea that if we're not getting answers, we must be doing something wrong. That maybe God's love is tied to the speed of His response. That if the door hasn't opened yet, maybe we're not worthy. But here's a truth that will set your heart free. The speed of the answer has nothing to do with the depth of your value. The timeline isn't a measurement of love. It's a masterpiece unfolding on a schedule you can't see yet. You see, Jesus never told us to measure our worth by results. He taught us to trust the one who holds a plan. His love isn't proved by how fast He fixes your problems. It's proved by how faithfully He walks with you through them. When everything around you is silent, still, and delayed, it doesn't mean you've been forgotten. It means you're being carried in a love that operates on a higher level than our logic can grasp. Love doesn't always come with explanations. It comes with presence. And the presence of God has never left you. We think we need movement to believe we're progressing. But Jesus showed us another way. He showed us that the kingdom isn't always visible. That faith often grows in places where sight fails. He led people to wait, to trust, to hold on, without giving them the full map. Why? Because He wasn't just interested in outcomes. He was interested in the becoming, in shaping people into vessels of strength and peace, not just granting them wishes. And let's not ignore the fear. It's real. Fear creeps in quietly, whispering lies that you're not enough, that nothing will change, that you're all alone in this. Fear says, look at the silence. It means you've been abandoned. But faith says, look at the silence. It means you're being trusted with something sacred. The truth is, fear isn't a verdict. It's a signal. It tells us where we need to lean in closer, surrender deeper, and remind ourselves that we are not walking alone. Jesus taught us not to be ruled by fear, but to rise above it, not by force, but by faith. He didn't ignore pain or pretend everything was easy. He acknowledged the storm, then spoke to it. He looked fear in the face and said, peace. That same power is within you, not because you're strong on your own, but because His Spirit, the one that calmed waves and healed broken hearts, is still alive, still near, and still ready to rise up in your soul. And that's where real strength is born, not in pretending you don't feel fear, but in choosing to walk forward anyway. That's divine courage. That's the power of surrender. It says, I may not have all the answers. My hands may be shaking. My heart may be tired, but I will not quit. I will not shrink. I will not give up on the promise written over my life. That's the kind of bravery heaven celebrates, not perfection, but persistence. You might feel like your faith is small, that your doubts are too big, but you are not measured by how loud your faith is. You're measured by your willingness to keep going. And when you share your story honestly, when you don't hide the struggle, but bring it into the light, something incredible happens. Your vulnerability becomes someone else's hope. Your pain becomes someone else's permission to keep believing. You become a vessel, not just of grace for yourself, but for those who are silently drowning. Don't be ashamed of your scars. Jesus never ran from the wounded. He walked toward them. He saw strength in those who were overlooked. He lifted the tired, healed the anxious, and gave rest to the souls who couldn't hold it together anymore. That same compassion is being offered to you now. You don't have to earn it. You just have to receive it. And as you do, something shifts. The waiting becomes less about when and more about who you are becoming, who is walking beside you, who has never stopped working on your behalf. The stillness becomes full of purpose. The fears, though present, begin to lose their grip. Because you're anchored now, not in outcomes, but in presence. Not in your performance, but in grace. So let the peace that surpasses understanding take root in your spirit. Let it flow like a river through your anxieties, carving out new paths of trust where only fear once stood. This peace isn't passive, it's powerful. It doesn't pretend the storms don't exist. It walks on the water right through them. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. Lay it down. Breathe deep. Lift your eyes. Trust again, not because everything makes sense, but because you're not walking this path alone. And you never were.